Found a phantom. Found a phantom. Yeah, I'm not a singer, but welcome to my show, Found a Phantom. It's me, Kevin Vonesper, and this is my new show about Phantom of the Opera. I'm wearing my skeleton tie. I thought it was a little bit appropriate as our main character that we're going to be talking about is described as a skeleton, though it's a little red. I think I probably wore it to a guar show or something. Hey, it happens, whatever. Today is going to be an exciting show. At least I hope it's going to be an exciting show. Either way, it's going to be fun. Who am I? I'm Kevin Vonesper. I am a video and photo content, I guess, what do I call it? Content producer. I have a company called Vonesper Studios. I'm New York based, and I'm a video editor. I make music, and I'm actually making a documentary called The Life and Slimes of Dookie Flyswatter and Haunted Garage about a horror punk band from LA and a B-movie actor, Dookie Flyswatter. Totally irrelevant to Phantom of the Opera, but that's who I am. And I've had a long-running love for Phantom of the Opera, which I will talk about, I'm sure, at length on this episode and many more. This is the first episode, but this show has been in the works for, probably about 10 years. Whenever I have a deep love of something and a collection, as you can see, I'm near my Phantom cave. You can't see how deep it goes, but you can see the surface level. I feel like I need to do something with my love for it. And I'm sort of like a documentary filmmaker. So I actually had a pilot episode for a show called The Fantome Phenomenon, which I produced a couple years ago. But it was, we will show that here tonight. As just to show you the introduction of how this started. But you know what? Editing takes a lot of work, and I just did not have the time and the money to focus on editing. It was a nice, neat little package. And since then, I've discovered streaming software like this that I'm on right now. And I think this was the perfect medium to relaunch this whole show and everything. And you know what the best part about live streaming is? You can produce it. It's like live editing, and then it just lives. You don't have to do any post-production. The post-production bogs you down the most. And okay, found a phantom. What is this? I kind of have this thesis that, like, whether I'm trying or not, you will always find a phantom in your everyday life. Uh, and I love the thing I love about Phantom the most probably is just how weird it gets. How you know, I like the weirdest parts of it the best. Like some of these figurines I have. Where am I twisted? Gremlins, Iron Maiden, you know. I got Phantom of the White House up there somewhere. It's the weirder the better, and that's what I want to talk about here. And this is a call out to anyone who may want to talk about Phantom here in the future. If there's anything weird or popular or just some facet of Phantom that you want to talk about, let's talk about it. Do you want to talk about Sarah Brightman and the Starship Troopers? Tell me, come on the show. How about Walter Murphy's Phantom of the Opera from 1978? You want to talk about heavy metal and Phantom of the Opera? Let's do it. You want not just music. There's movies too. Yes, In Excess has a Phantom of the Opera song. You want to talk about some weird ass movies? I probably have it behind me. Let's talk about them. Tell me what you're into. Hell, if you wanted to even leave a comment if you're watching this now, maybe I can pull it out and talk about it. I do want to talk about some comic books today. My guest is supposed to be Becky Laugh. I hope she will be joining us tonight. I have not heard from her since I've started this broadcast. There might have been a time miscommunication. I'm not sure, but hopefully she will join us because she is my first special guest. But you know what? I do want to address the phantom in the room, so to speak. I am putting on my mask, so to speak. I think that's a relevant phrase for tonight. And putting on my smile, but it's been a somber day. Actually, it's been a generally good day, except for the news today is just very depressing, and this is not a political show at all, and I hope this will distract from the political, but I do want to just address that elephant in the room, and it was hard to like decide to actually still come on and do a show and be happy after that. So I think it's a good time to like take a little break. Well, first of all, let me play my little intro. Dun dun dun. It's a live show and I'm live editing. Found a phantom. Yeah, I'll make a jingle for that eventually, but you know, it's first episode. It's gonna be a little bit bootleg. Let me share my slideshow here. This is Found a Phantom. Welcome. Thank you for joining me. Feel free to comment and be part of the discussion. Previously, the Fantome Phenomenon, which I will play momentarily, the pilot episode from a few years ago, back when I lived in New York City. Not that I'm far from it now, but I was straight in the middle of it then. Today's guest, I hope Becky Laugh, talking about her graphic novel, Phantom of the Opera, Part 1. Just launched a Kickstarter. It's going very well from what I see. I've been following this project for a long time on Patreon, and I'm so glad to finally, you know, eventually we'll have it in our hands properly. It's going to be great, and I hope we can talk about a bunch of that. I have a lot of questions. There's Becky. This is what you are watching right now. Okay, let's check out my show, The Phantom Phenomenon. I think I made this, I don't know, 2015 or 16. It's an interview with Argyle Goolsby, who is a horror punk musician. He's been in bands with like members of the Misfits and things like that. And maybe we'll get him on this new rebranded show at some point. Anyways, please enjoy.
One day, I hope this show will bring me to the Paris Opera House.
Can you hear it?
But for my first episode, I stayed local at the Irish Whiskey Bar in my home neighborhood of Astoria, Queens, in New York, to talk to Argyle Goolsby. Argyle has been making a name for himself in the subgenre of horror punk since the 1990s with his band Blitzkid, while also playing in such projects as Mr. Monster, The Undead, and Doyle from the Misfits band Gorgeous Frankenstein. Tonight, he is in Astoria with his newest project, The Roving Midnight. I sat down with him after a night of punk rock and a few beers to talk about his love for the Phantom of the Opera.
My first memory was Kmart had these things called VHS cassette tapes.
Oh, I remember
back in the day. When I was a kid, my incentive was that if I did well in school, I could go to Kmart and I could pick out a VHS cassette tape. Mind you, we had no VCR. We had to rent those from Adventureland Video, but I didn't care because the art on all those boxes were so intriguing. That's all I wanted. But the picture of the Phantom of the Opera is the one where he's doing this and Christine Mary Philbin's like laying on the ground. And it was Good Times Video. And there was just something so poignant about that image to me. It was romance and horror and all these things that I didn't understand at an early age, but like still wanted to know about, I was like, I have to have that movie. And I didn't even know what silent horror films were, but it didn't bother me. I was entranced by it. I was always into horror. As early as I can remember, Halloween was a big deal for me.
So did you have a Phantom costume? Did you buy a Phantom?
No, but I did used to make a Phantom. I used to make one with duct tape. Yeah, with tape, Scotch tape. Because I would read in these books about how Chaney would do his makeup. He would take the ringlets and put them under his eyes, the wire hooks in his mouth to achieve the skull-like nose. He had put fish hooks and ran them up with wires to his wig cap. So I used to take Scotch tape and just tape my nose up to my face and run around with a garbage bag cape. And I would run around imagining that I was the Phantom of the Opera.
That's awesome. You were in this band called Blitzkid. Mm-hmm. 2006, you put out an album, 5 Cellars Below.
Mm-hmm. I would fall asleep with old silent movies, and I still to this day do. I was just laying in bed one night, and I remember it was like 5 cellars below, or 5 levels below the Opera House. And I just said, wow, that sounds really cool. It was our 5th album, so I just felt like, we're 5 albums in, so we're 5 cellars below, into this whole thing that we're doing. That picture on that album cover is worth 1,000 words. That was an alternate ending of the Phantom of the Opera, where he played his final opus, then he died, and that was his big, magnificent exit from, the opera and the world. It was just really a very powerful image.
The song 5 Cellars Below, it's kind of like a love song.
It is, yeah. Like all good love songs, there's an unrequited love song. Well, there's the line at the very end where it's like, if only someone would stay and touch my face and hear my songs and feel my passion, I would walk through walls for you.
I love that line, walk through walls for you, because that's kind of like what he does for her.
He would, but he had to create illusions. He had to become the Phantom for anyone to give him any notice. There's that element of the human condition where we all go through that,
I think we can all relate to the tortured musician, right?
Absolutely.
A little bit.
Yeah, did you see the van I just had to load?
Yeah, exactly.
Jesus, man, I'm as tortured as they come.
There's skateboards now?
Yeah, I've been skateboarding since I was old enough to break bones, and I have broken.
Did you break bones skateboarding?
Oh, yeah, man. Oh, yeah. I'd always wanted to put a skateboard out, and my friend Nick had come to me saying that he found a supplier. He wanted to do a Blitzkid board, and I said that sounds great because it was the 10-year anniversary of 5 Cellars Below. When we finally put it on vinyl in 2012, we had a guy paint something for it. And
it's an original painting.
It was an original painting. And if you look at the actual sticker on the record itself, the side A-B sticker, it's the Phantom is the mask of the Red Death.
On stage with you, you have an amp. That is the Phantom of the Opera as the Red Death.
Yes.
How many people have seen you with the Phantom in back?
As many people who have come to see us live, and I'm carrying it on with this band too. I looked at it like in that scene where he comes down into the ballroom and everyone's having a grand old time. He says, beneath your dancing feet are the tombs of tortured men, thus does the Red Death rebuke your merriment. And what I do, I'm on stage, and there's all these people out in the crowd dancing and having a grand old time. So it's almost like the Red Death is on stage with me, having his moment. It's like bringing that scene from that movie on stage with me. But it's also this weird kind of esoteric, subliminal reminder that, beneath everyone's feet are the tombs of tortured men.
Do you have any Phantom tattoos?
You
have to think about that one?
Yeah, I do actually.
Oh my God.
I don't believe that I do. I did want to get the mask at one point. The actual Lon Chaney mask, the one that has like the cheesecloth across the face here, because that was so creepy. Like when he comes up through the orchestra pit in that movie, I have a white mask that I had cut off halfway across the lip. I used a bra to make the thing across the mouth right here, because it was like a lacy black bra. The problem that I was having were like my eyes were too alive, so I printed out eyeballs and I taped them in. So when I have the mask on, it's this fixed, dead stare, like that old mask. I picked this up at Walden Books. Pretty sure it was a snow day. I think it's more or less geared towards 7 to 10-year-olds. But I found it really cool because a lot of the imagery did relate back to the original Universal horror movie This girl looks strikingly like Mary Philbin. But the way they did the Phantom, once they unmasked him, is he's more of a skeleton.
This has a rare, very happy ending.
I mean, it has to be kid-friendly. It's a narrative death, okay? So he's not really dead because he's talking about his death. I need my smoking vest on and my bubble pipe. Did I live? Not much. Oh, I could have written such music. Music that would live forever. Instead, I've burned my opera. No one shall ever listen to its magical notes. Here in my home under the Paris Opera House, I shall die. Eric, the living dead boy. Eric, the living skeleton. Eric, the Phantom of the Opera.
Oh, very beautiful. We're here tonight. We're doing this new project. Here we go. The Roving Midnight.
Blitzkid was like a creative floodgate opening for me. We developed a very consistent particular sound for what we did, and we tried to stay upbeat, energetic, and punk rock. That didn't mean that the influences that I had all throughout that time weren't still influencing me. I've always loved Sisters of Mercy, Bauhaus. When their influences found their way into my songwriting, it didn't always create a Blitzkid song. I just went back to all those songs, and I was like, well, let me look at this and let me see what I have. And I started developing them. And I noticed that everything was kind of taking on more of a death rock kind of vibe. I wanted to put all that music out and let everybody hear what I was doing.
Thanks for watching the first episode of the Fantome Phenomenon, where I explore the cultural phenomenon of the Phantom of the Opera. This is a passion project, so check out our Patreon and consider sponsoring us so I can continue creating it. Watch out for the podcast version, which will include extended interviews, and like us on Facebook and Instagram for more Fantome fun. Don't forget to check out Argyle when he comes to your town.
Good night.
Hello, it's me, Kevin Vonesper, and my friend the Phantom. It's still just me, so I will be talking to my friend the Phantom. How are you, Phantom? I will leave you right here. My friend had this custom made for me. It's awesome. Shout out Claudia. Maybe she's watching. I hope you enjoyed that. Hello, Royal Avera. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Thank you. It's fun. I need some more fun ties. Anyone have any recommendations on like cool Fantome related ties? If you would like to come live, I just threw the link out into the chat on YouTube. Click on that, and if you want to talk Phantom, because I think we're going guest list tonight. Not guest list, guest list. Well, let's hope Becky shows up, but we're gonna steamroll along. It's very interesting to me. All the Phantom fans I talk to are women. I want to know more. What made you fall in love with it? Well, thank you. That is a great segue into what I was going to talk about next, which is exactly that. My origin story, which is kind of strange. I mean, I don't know. I guess it depends on the perspective you look at it. Phantom of the Opera. Most people, I don't know. I grew up sort of a punk rocker. I always liked, I'm a musician. I loved aggressive music. Like, when I found the Misfits, it clicked for me. So, but I guess I also loved horror movies and like monsters and things like that. I think that's all related. And the Phantom of the Opera is definitely one of the classic monsters of, I'm going to say our time, but of many times, many eras as of now. And I discovered it probably when I was like, I think 9 years old, I'm going to say. My older brother, for some reason, he's like a guitar rock guy traditionally, but he got into Andrew Lloyd Webber for some reason and discovered Phantom of the Opera. And we both got really into the CDs, of course, the musical. But at around the same time, we went to our local library and got the original novel. So at the same time that I was discovering the musical, I read the book. And not only that, I didn't know this until years later, and I realized this, but I want to show you some. These are not actual pictures of the book from the library. I went back there recently to see if they still had this exact copy of the book, and they did not. They actually had no copies of the book anymore, which is just crazy. So I hope they didn't throw it in the trash. But what I actually read was this, which was the original 19 whatever 11, I think, or I don't remember when it was first published as a novel in the United States, but it was this actual book with these crazy illustrations in it. Well, I guess it didn't have this slip cover, but I guess that's what it originally had on it. And it had these amazing, amazing illustrations throughout the book, or paintings. I'm not sure. I don't know who the artist is. Look, the face of flames. How cool is that? Of course, this is like an iconic shot of the Phantom looming over the rooftops. Oh, there's no more. I guess that's the end of my book photos. Yeah, there was only a few, but they were, um, I don't know. It definitely, I can't believe that I was reading an original copy of the book. Maybe some of that magic rubbed off on me, but I was, became obsessed. And back then, I'm talking, this was 1993, 1994. 1994 in February, I believe. I have the ticket somewhere in the other room. Was the first time I actually saw the musical live, and of course that was magical. I mean, imagine being, maybe you were 10 years old, 11 years old. No, in 1994 I was 10 years old, and I'm showing my age if you can do your math. Um, and it was just amazing. And then back then we didn't have like Blu-rays or even DVDs. It was very hard to find any copy of any Phantom of the Opera movie on VHS. I mean, maybe the video stores had some. Probably the most accessible to find at the time was Robert Englund's Phantom of the Opera, which I believe I saw um, in my grandfather's house. He probably thought it was the Lon Chaney version. I just can't imagine them popping this in and watching what this is. And we will definitely be doing an episode on this. And side note, the reason I really want to do an episode on this is because I recently got a good Blu-ray copy of this movie, Dance Macabre, which was supposed to be the sequel to this. This was sold as a 2-movie deal. It didn't happen, and it got rewritten into this, apparently, where Robert Englund cross-dresses as a ballet teacher. And if anyone wants to buy this Blu-ray and also come on and have a roundtable discussion about how, see what I'm talking about, the weirdest stuff in the Phantom history, this is what I'm talking about. What the hell is this? Let's see if I can find my first copy of Phantom of the Opera. I don't know where it is. I gotta get organized. Yes, but anytime you would find a version of Phantom of the Opera in the store or in a mail order catalog, it was like a major win. Now you can find them probably in about 2 seconds, just Googling it on the internet. And that was my introduction to Phantom of the Opera. And then of course, since I read the book first, I was always so amazed at how nobody's gotten it right. Nobody has gotten it right yet. And um, it's fascinating to me how wrong most versions get it and how uniquely wrong they get it, and that's kind of what makes them special, I guess you would say. So I'm probably going to create some sort of Google spreadsheet rating system to see like how far off each version is from the book, but I also want to celebrate their weirdness. I mean, and they're preserving this weirdness. Where is it? I recently bought Blu-ray special edition Phantom of the Mall, Eric's Revenge. A Phantom of the Opera movie from the 80s in a mall with Pauly Shore in it. And in the background in a nude changing scene in some versions. Frank Stevens, who's in my documentary, The Life and Slimes of Dookie Flyswatter. Maybe we can get her on to talk about this. You know, they're all so strangely unique. And I throw this question back out to you. How did you get into Phantom of the Opera? What was the first thing you ever saw? Oh shit, Kiki. Hi, Kiki. What are you shitting about? Lucky you, that's so cool. I think that was in reference to either seeing the show at a young age or discovering the book at a young age. Andre Castigny. Oh man, I am butchering this so hardcore. I'm so sorry to this artist who's probably not alive, but his family. Yeah, they are mind-blowing and just totally set the tone. And then Kiki says, yes. Thank you. Well, I was prepared. I had a whole slideshow prepared to talk about Becky Laugh's Phantom of the Opera graphic novel and really get into some fun details. But I guess I'll save it until she can actually come talk about it with us. I hope everything is okay. If anyone knows Becky and wants to reach out, oh boy, this is embarrassing. So, not only is this an announcement for a future episode, Royal says, my first was the OG book too last year. Oh, wow. So you're a new fan. That's exciting. See, I got like 20 something years on this fandom, and I'd be interested in talking to somebody who has a very fresh and everything up until now is old, which is interesting because I've seen so many new Phantoms in my day. This is a comic book, another graphic novel I want to talk about. I'm not going to talk about it at length right now, but The Trapdoor Maker, a prequel to Phantom of the Opera by Pete Bregman. He will be a guest on an upcoming show next month. I will, stay tuned. Where's my banner? You can follow me. My best place to find me is on Instagram. Found a Phantom right here at Found a Phantom. Everyone go to your Instagram right now and follow me. That's the best way to get in touch. That or just comment here on the YouTubes. But yes, he was somebody I was talking to when I was originally doing my Fantome Phenomenon show and was going to be a guest on that. But he made this amazing, interesting, zany, often very violent prequel to the Phantom of the Opera that I want to talk about. And I also want to note the cover art by Basil Gogos, who was famous for doing the famous Monsters of Filmland illustrations. And he sadly has passed away, but I'm glad that his legacy lives on with his many Phantom of the Opera representations, including this one, The Trapdoor Maker. Wow, we're going to talk to Pete next month, I believe, on Phantom Friday the 22nd, but don't quote me on that. I will have a flyer out soon for that. And just, assume I'll be here every Friday at 9 o'clock, unless I tell you otherwise. Kiki, Phantom of the Opera TV miniseries with Charles Dance saw it was released, then Robert Englund's. Where do I? Yes. Yeah, this is a good one. This is an interesting one, although I really wish someone's got to put this out on Blu-ray, man. Like, there's enough demand, I think, for this. I know, like, the color on this release is apparently not optimal compared to the European cut. Like, somebody restore this properly, get some commentaries. I'd love to hear from Terry Polo. I love Terry Polo. Not only do I love her in this, not only is she a blonde Christine, which is one detail that I don't understand how many people get wrong, but yes, Terry Polo is in another one of my favorite movies called Mystery Date. It's a probably the movie she did exactly right before this or after this in like 1990. I believe it came out. It was a dark comedy that she did with Ethan Hawke, BD Wong, and Guar. I can't make this shit up. Fisher Stevens is in it is also wow. Check out Mystery Date. I'd love to talk about that on something. Yeah, this is a very interesting one. Somebody put this out on Blu-ray. God damn it. Monster in Paris animation. See, I love that I just have my whole collection behind me. And it's in roughly chronological order. So where is it? Here we go. A Monster in Paris. This deserves a rewatch. I've only seen it once when I first got it. Of course, the most interesting to me about it is that the voice of the Phantom character in this is Sean Lennon. Yes, John Lennon's son, Sean, who is also a wonderful musician. I'm a fan of some of his work. And I know he does stuff with like Primus now, which is crazy. Yeah, this deserves a rewatch. But if you want to come on the show and do an episode talking about this, let me know. I'd be happy to do it. That was a cute animation. Oh, yes, yes. Deserves a rewatch. I admit, my first fandom was Gerard Butler, but it opened the door for me. I found the book soon after and ate up every other version I could get my hands on. Yes, of course, there's, okay. My musical stuff is way deep in there. This is all just the other movies, so I can't really reach it right now. But we all know the version. It's, yeah. I'm sure we'll talk about that at some point. I have mixed feelings about it, as most fans I think do. But I want to put a positive spin on that. That came out in what, 2004? Wow. I always said like it's going to be at least 20 years before, you know, it's maybe about time they can think about remaking it. And it's almost been 20 years, so let's start talking about it. I know, what's his name? Ryan, who directed he directed one of those new Star Wars movies. Live editing, Star Wars, Ryan Johnson. I actually made a screen grab of this. I don't know where it is right now, but he has expressed interest in making the Phantom of the Opera musical remake. And I know a lot of people didn't like that Star Wars movie as a Star Wars movie, but you can't deny that if someone is skilled enough to make a Star Wars movie, they're capable of making a Phantom of the Opera movie. And I bet you it would be pretty freaking awesome. So let's get Ryan Johnson and Andrew Lloyd Webber together and let's do this because it deserves a remake. And then maybe they'll make A Love Never Dies. And of course, the world probably does not need that, but why not? Because there's always going to be new phantoms out there, and I like to celebrate the bad ones with the good ones. Not to say it's all bad. Of course, that's another whole mixed bag of emotions. But hey, it exists. So why not cast the Phantom of the Opera and then have the same cast do those two movies like back to back, you know? How cool would that be? You know, it would solve all the casting problems. Let's do it. Becky Lapp is a one-of-a-kind artist. Do you know any other indie artists working on an adaptation? I don't think I know anyone who is currently making an adaptation, but if you are, get at me and we'll talk to you on the show. Yeah, let me show. I don't know what happened to Becky. I think she thought it was 6 o'clock for some reason, which it would have been if you were in California at 6 o'clock, but it's 9 o'clock here in New York. and that's what I put on the flyer. It's disappointing, but I'm sure, you know, I still would love to have her hopefully on the next episode, and maybe we can talk about this awesome artwork. I mean, yes, I don't want to spoil too much because I want to talk about this with her. But I always said that one of the other things that most adaptations get wrong is that the Paris Opera House needs to be a character. Like it it needs to be seen in all its glory and all its spooky shadows and atmosphere. And most people skip over that, which is too bad. I have a lot of ideas for a faithful adaptation, and I will share them with you as I go along on this show, I'm sure. Dana Ingram, you are okay, great. Link me to your stuff. Actually, if you want to put a link in the chat, I can take a look at it right now. But yes, get at me. Let's talk about, do you want to come on the show right now? I have the link in the chat, and I'm lacking a guest at the moment, except my friend here, Mr. Fantome. Hello, Fantome. I wish I could credit this artist, but I have no idea. My friend did not make this, but she did have it made for me. I'm going to put this over here. Oh, here's another artist I can shout out. My friend Almu. This is her card. I just bought, she loves Phantom of the Opera. Maybe I can get her on the show. But I just bought this print from her that I think is incredible. And I think you should all, I mean, there's a little bit of glare here. Let me see if I can fix that. Ugh. Not really. You can kind of see it. I'm trying to get it out of the reflection of the computer. This is incredible. I wish this was part of a larger piece, you know, like a graphic novel or something. But no, it's just she loves her Phantom, and I love her Phantom art. Hi. Yes, where could we read your stuff, Dana? And while we wait for an answer for that, here's some more Phantom of the Opera comic books that I have. See, this is the fun part where I just get to play with my collection. I got Walt Disney's Uncle Scrooge, The Phantom of Notre Duck. Oh God, this looks pretty old. 19, no, I think it's from the 1960s. That's interesting. I got Phantom of the Space Opera, a Green Lantern comic. Oops, let me get rid of this. Let's see, I don't remember what this is about. Anno Dracula, but obviously this is a cover featuring the Phantom character in it, which is totally a Weber ripoff. Man, can't you guys be original? Sherlock Holmes, Adventures of the Opera Ghost. I think we're going to get a guest in a few minutes. Let's see what else I got. Eternity Comics, The Phantom of the Opera, roar. I don't remember when this was published. It looks like from the 80s maybe. Oh man, 195. Issue 1. I don't know if there was any other editions of this. That's pretty gruesome, huh? That's pretty cool. Trying to find a 1988. Nailed it. There was a lot of exciting Phantom things coming out in the 80s. Of course, there was such a Phantom craze back then. I kind of was not old enough to remember it. Let's see. Here's a DC one. So here, DC, here's one for your universe. The Phantom Stranger. Look at that. That's pretty cool. The chandelier. Yeah, I gotta reread all these. What else do I got? Innovation, the Phantom of the Opera. These are all comic books. I have too many fucking Phantom things. Of course, here's another one for the DC universe. I think you've all seen this one, the Batman Mask. I know that's mask, right? Yes, I'm filling time. I'm filling time. This one's a more recent one called Girl Over Paris. Not exactly a Phantom of the Opera story, but I think there's some sort of phantom-y. Yeah, there's like a phantom sort of character in it. And it's, who kind of hangs out underneath the tunnels of Paris. Well, yeah, look, that looks like the opera house, right? Another one that's worth a reread. I get these and I read them and then I put them on the shelf for years. And of course, we can't forget the one that just came out, the graphic novel of the musical, which, I was waiting for years for this. And then the distributor totally dropped the ball and I had to reorder it from Amazon anyways. Yes, so many Phantoms of the Opera things that are just so weird. You see what and I could talk for hours about each of them, I'm sure. Of course, this is beautiful. If you're a fan of the musical and you like phantom-y things, I totally recommend it. There's nothing is going to really surprise you about it, but it's another version of the thing that you like. This one, I got this one. These are all ones I got very recently. This actually came out in 2020. So during the pandemic, Phantom of the Opera graphic novel with no names of the authors or illustrators on the front. More names I'm gonna butcher if I try to read them. But I remember since I did read this recently, this is very book accurate, which I was very impressed with. And the artwork is pretty cool. And look, he has, can you see it in this? Where is it? He has a black mask. There you go. It's a little steampunk, but that's another thing. The blonde Christine and the white mask are the things that always get me about these adaptations. Like, such simple details from the book that everybody messes up just because of one thing they saw in popular culture. This one I just got, and even though, oh boy, it is going to be hard to read because it's in not English, I think it's Spanish. El Fantasma de la Opera, but I saw this on Amazon or I saw this on someone's Instagram feed and I was like, what is this? I need it. Where do I get it? This just came out, I believe, this year too. Why do they not have publishing dates on the front page? What is wrong with people? Isn't that where you're supposed to put it? Or maybe that's just America. Oh, okay. Well, I guess this came out in like 2000, in the early 2011, 12, 13-ish. But it's I don't know. I haven't read this one yet, but it looks pretty cool. I'm excited. That's the thing. I buy these Phantom things, and sometimes I wait a long time because I just know there's something new that's waiting for me when I'm ready for it. And these aren't exactly comic books, but they are illustrated, and I think they're worth mentioning. Babar the Phantom, which I think was also an episode of the show, the cartoon, and same with this Phantom of the Muppet Theater. Of course, one of many, many tie-ins with the Muppets, the Muppet Show, the Muppet Babies, all sorts of Muppet stuff. There's a whole novel that's a parody, like word for word parody of the original novel. Still haven't finished it, but totally worth getting. And the last one I got for you, The Phantom Cat of the Opera. Did you know about this one? If you love Phantom and you love cats, that's for you. Let's see. Do we have Dana? That's okay. I imagine Eric having a huge collections of masks just because. Yeah, maybe. Um, I know in the book, he had different versions that he was working on, but I think most of the time he runs around with that one. He just doesn't really care, except for Christine, right? All right, let's bring on a guest. This is Dana. Hello, Dana.
Hello, can you hear me?
Hi, I
Hi.
can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Welcome to Found a Phantom.
Hi.
So tell me about your phantom and
Black.
who are you?
Okay, I'm Dana. Um, I'm from California. I think Beck is from here too, or she's on this side of the coast somewhere.
Okay, I hope she didn't think it's 9 o'clock California time, because
Oh,
then it would be 12 o'clock for me, which I can come back on. That would be fine, but that's not what I told everybody.
yeah. Maybe I've done that before
Because I know
actually.
I saw a post that she did um, today that said 6 p.m. and then posted a flyer that said 9, and I was like, this could be a
Mm,
problem.
yeah, I don't
But we
know.
have Dana. We will get Becky back. We'll
Yeah.
figure it out. Is that a horse?
Sorry, that was my phone.
Oh, okay.
I
I
actually
thought
work
maybe
with.
you lived on a farm or something.
Well, I work with horses too, so
Okay, that makes sense.
yeah.
Is
Let me.
there is there a white horse named Caesar?
No, I've been waiting for one, but we have a
You're
few
gonna
white
call it Caesar if
horses.
you get a white horse, right?
Yep. Yep.
Absolutely.
All right.
Sorry, I cut you
It's
off a
okay.
little bit.
It's okay. Uh, well, where to start? So what I
Yeah, who
do
are
is
you? What do you do?
okay. So I'm actually a comic artist. I have a background in animation, and
Nice.
so the Phantom comic is called Black Nostalgia. This was a kind of ridiculous idea back in high school
hmm
years ago.
As most ridiculous ideas start.
I know, right? So one day I was just in school and I was doing my thing and I had been reading the book and I thought to myself, how cool would it be to make you're gonna have to pardon me on this.
Yeah.
Um so I was thinking, how cool would it be to see a phantom furry comic? Now,
Okay.
I don't mean furry in like the weird furry thing. I just mean talking animals.
That's
Just the
fair.
talking
Either
animal
way, I would welcome it. If you're a
Okay.
furry phantom, which actually sounds great when once I say it out loud, come on the show in your furry phantom costume and I'll talk to you.
Excellent. So I had just been reading the book and I wanted to try and adapt my comic to the book rather than the musical.
Yes.
Even though I did like the musical.
Yes. It's
Just
usually our first love, but then we
yeah.
discover like, oh, this is the original intention. I get it now.
Yeah. Even though I realized years later that I remember my actual first encounter with Phantom was that old Wishbone series. They did an
Oh wow.
episode.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure. Yeah, I don't
I
have a physical copy of that. I don't think it
yeah.
exists, but I've seen it for sure.
I didn't make the connection until years later. I'm like, wait a minute. That was
Which
my
was
first
also pretty
Phantom.
book accurate. I mean, in a very simple way, but
Yeah, it was. From what I remember.
yeah, yeah.
So, yeah, Black Nostalgia. I I went almost all the way through the whole series. I almost made it to the end, like, when Eric kidnaps Christine at the end of that show she was in. I suddenly forget which one it was, but
Faust?
yeah, Faust. Oh my God. So I almost made it to the end of the series, and then I just kind of puttered out, and the series died for like 10 years
Oh
almost.
my god.
Yeah. And then about 2 years ago, I think, maybe 3 now, I decided to reboot the whole series. So I
Okay. Yeah.
restarted it with new art, new character designs, and I actually wrote a script this time
Mm-hmm.
because I didn't the first time. I was
Sure.
just kind of going with it, and I think that's what killed it.
Yeah, I mean, that would make sense. You got to have a plan,
Yeah,
not just a vision.
yeah. Back then, I didn't know what I was doing.
Yeah, I'm sure, and it's the same for me with like I'm a musician primarily.
Oh,
Well, the
cool.
music's my main passion, and
Nice.
so I have so many songs that I wrote in high school and have like these terrible 8-track, 4-track recordings of, which I would not really wish anybody to hear, but the ideas are good, and I'm still trying to revive all of them in some way just to like put my original vision out there in a, in the best way possible, which wasn't
Mhm.
possible back then, and now with technology is very possible.
Hmm.
Does that make sense, right?
Yeah, it does.
So I think it's probably the same, like, oh, this was a great idea. Now with all I have learned since then,
Yeah.
let's re-implement.
Mhm.
Is this you?
Oh, that's my Patreon. Yeah.
Where can we
Where
is
where
there
how'd you get that link?
I googled it.
Oh, okay. Well, there's a link here in the private chat I just
Oh,
sent
okay.
you.
Gotcha. It's like, yes, that's a live show.
Yeah. Well, if anyone wants my Patreon, there it is.
Well, are you updating the Patreon? It looks like it's
Oh
kind
yeah.
of been abandoned.
No,
Oh,
no.
okay.
I update it actually multiple times a week.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
Let's everybody join the Patreon. I'm gonna join the Patreon after this show.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, I gotta support, the if you don't support what you love, you're not gonna get more of what you love.
I know. I need to join Bex. I keep meaning to. I need to.
Here we go.
Yeah.
So, so it's a pretty book accurate version of Phantom of the Opera.
It's going.
And what animals are each character?
All right. Eric is. Oh my God. Here we go. It sounds ridiculous when I say it out loud. Eric, when
That's
I
what's
was.
great about Phantom of the Opera stuff. All of it
That's
sounds
true.
ridiculous when you say it out loud. You know what's
Very
ridiculous
true.
when you talk about it out loud? Love never dies.
No.
Yes, I mean, just say it out loud and it's ridiculous. But that's what we love about it, I'd
Yeah.
hope.
Yep, for sure.
That's what I love about it. It's a fucking mess, but
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
such a unique mess that I can't believe
Hmm.
that it exists, so I gotta celebrate that.
I know, right? All right. So Eric, when I created him in high school, at first he was just going to be a panther with scars because I was thinking Gerard Butler seemed very suave and a panther
Hmm.
seemed like a good way to go. But then I realized as I was making everything,
Plus,
it
Panther
wasn't.
has a P in it.
Yeah, it wasn't. It wasn't going to work. So I changed him to a wolf. And being in high school, I thought, make him scarier. Make him part dragon somehow.
Hmm,
Which made it, like I said, sounds ridiculous when I say it out loud, but I love it. All right. And then
I love it.
Christine's a blonde cat, and she's got the blue eyes too. Because I'm like you. I'm tired of seeing the brown hair, brown eyed Christines.
Yeah, what's up with that?
I don't know. It
I
says
mean, I feel like it just started with Sarah Brightman mostly, and it's like,
maybe.
okay, but that's just one thing, and then everything else had to follow it afterwards.
I don't know. Wasn't the
She's
Christine
Swedish. Come on, it's
Yeah,
gonna be a
right.
blonde girl.
Yeah. But wasn't the Christine in the Claude Rains, wasn't she brunette?
Y- Um, I believe so. Yeah,
Yeah. So I don't
yeah.
know.
I guess it does stem from the '40s.
Yeah. But the Christine and Charles dance, she was blonde, so that was
Yes,
there.
that's
There
another
was
reason
that.
to celebrate that one.
I love the Charles dance one.
Yeah,
That's like my favorite.
I wish I could reach my mystery date over there. Have you ever seen Mystery Date?
Ah, no, I haven't.
Okay, That's your homework. It's
Okay.
not Phantom related, but it's Terry Polo related, and it's the movie she did
Oh.
like right after the words. You know what
Okay.
else I love about that version of Phantom of the Opera?
Hmm.
They actually filmed parts of it in the fucking opera house.
That's
Like,
right,
how
they
come
did.
nobody else has done this?
I don't know.
I don't understand.
I don't either. I've wondered that myself. I'm like, you could make an amazing movie if you film in there. Like, what's stopping everybody?
Yeah.
Seriously.
Get someone in there, you know, with the stuff that they can do with
Yeah.
CGI now. It's like they could totally film it there or like make an exact replica of the everything basically.
Yep.
Whatever, like, come on, make this happen.
I
That's like what
know.
I want to see in my lifetime, like the most, is like a book accurate Phantom of the Opera. Probably would work better as a series,
Yeah,
but
it might.
an on-screen adaptation, you know.
Yes. Like if I was still in the film industry, that's what I would want to do.
Yeah, I'm a documentary filmmaker and then like a video content creator,
And
but that's I'm not like I don't do like film, you know, like
mm,
that's not my wheelhouse. But I would love, you know, to be a consultant on it, you know, and tell them what they're
yes.
doing wrong. So that's another goal of this show. Like, hire me, Hollywood. I'm ready. Move me out to Hollywood.
Awesome.
Oh wow. 4
Oh,
a.m. over there. Where is
what? Are you in
Faltazius? Why does everyone have hard to pronounce names? I wish I could. Faltazius.
Faltazius?
I like it. It just took a minute to figure it out. Well, good night. Thank you for joining me. Fal Faltazius. It's so dramatic. I love it.
Yes.
Rest well. Yes. Thank you for joining me. We got My Killer Podcast. What's up? What's up? Don't forget to kill that like button. It's our final girl Mel, who told me she would join us one day to talk about what are we going to talk about? Robert England, I think, right?
Ooh.
Yeah, and if anyone else wants to join, I would love to do a roundtable discussion about some of these adaptations and just like the more the merrier.
That'd be so cool.
You know, not like 15 people, but maybe like 4. So if anyone has their weird, you know, whatever ones that you like, well, we can talk about it here.
Nice.
Well, thank you. Obviously, we know where to support you, right? It's at Patreon. And is there any plans for like putting this to print, or what's the future of the project?
I would like to print it after I get it finished. As right now, I'm trying to get myself 20 pages ahead so I can start updating weekly rather than bi-weekly. Because I do have to work, unfortunately.
Yeah, that was my issue. Like I was talking about before with producing a show, is that shit takes work, and nobody's paying me for this, so I can't take too much time out for the things that I love.
Yeah.
That are not, you know, I have my music and my documentary and everything that comes before this stuff. And that's why I'm loving this format. This is what I've always needed, and now I've discovered it. I can share my screen and we can see everything, and it's just wonderful.
And we can nerd about Phantom stuff.
Yes. And talking about nerding about Phantom stuff, guess what? I found a Phantom this week.
Oh,
And
this?
This is kind of like the thesis of the show is I'm always finding phantoms in popular culture and things like that. And hopefully this doesn't get me kicked off of YouTube for sharing, because this is a commentary, so it is fair use, I believe. But I found a phantom on late night TV.
What?
Tessa Thompson, who's amazing. Now, wait a minute. Are you ready for this never before seen clip? Are you guys ready for this never before seen clip?
Yes, are you ready for this never
I'm so excited. Let's get into it. Let's get into it. Let's
ready.
set the scene. There you go.
Oh,
there we are.
We
ready.
can find a phantom.
have I seen this clip? Probably not.
Well, you were in the movie. Let's see it.
Marvel, sponsor me.
How'd you know?
Wait a minute.
The atmosphere there has a darkness like no other. It's as if color feels to tread. It's unmistakable.
Well, then, if it's color we need, Let's bring the rainbow.
Oh
Bring the
yeah.
rainbow. Is that a catchphrase or something?
She's only been a Thor for a minute. I mean, saving lives she's quite good at, but the rest of it she needs
Wait.
work.
How many catchphrases have there been?
Yep. Jump the gun.
Oh my gosh.
Hang on, he moves through shadows and
Yes,
he's going
Phantom
into
of the Opera
shadow
exists
realm.
in the Marvel
That's where
universe.
It's gonna be the most powerful.
Hey, Rock, we can't just go marching in there. It could be a trap.
Are you thinking what I think you're thinking?
So everyone go see Thor.
Thinking what? Thinking it too.
Omnipotency.
I wonder if Andrew Lloyd Webber's getting royalties from this.
That's so cool.
But wait, there's more.
And now Valkyrie, your character in the movie, you were wearing a is that a Phantom of the Opera T-shirt?
Yeah.
And why?
Because she
Yes,
likes
why?
musical theater. Why not?
See? Oh, yeah, okay.
No, there was this conversation basically like
That's really cool, by the way.
if these gods
Yes,
come
it
to
is.
Earth, what do they like to do? You know, and she likes basketball and she likes musical theater. And also, it was a shout out to one of our writers, Jen Robinson. The first time she met Taika, our director, she was wearing a Phantom of the Opera T-shirt, and so
Oh, really?
we thought that'd be really sweet. But I thought that Valkyrie's really into cats and really into Phantom. Those are
I
her
really
two
like
favorites.
Sandra
That's
Lloyd
really
Webber.
cool, but it's just a really cool idea that they would have that character be that. Are you also a fan of musical theater?
Yeah, well, I mean, sometimes I went to see Pam Anderson in Chicago, and that was.
Because when I think of song and dance, I think of Pam Anderson. Tessa Thompson, thank you. Thor: Love and Thunder opens in theaters July 8th.
Wow.
Schwarzenegger.
I found a Phantom.
Cool.
I'm telling you, like, it finds you. I'm
Yes.
just doing, I look for phantoms, but also I'm just living my regular ass life, and it's like, boom, there's a phantom right in front of me. And this is where I get to showcase it and talk about it. Finally. Oh my God, I have a backlog of phantoms that I've found, and we're gonna find them all.
Excellent.
Well, anything else you would like to tell the fans out there?
Go read it.
Go read the book
Yeah,
and your book.
yes, read mine.
Yes. Forget Gaston Leroux. You gotta skip straight to Dana's Black Nostalgia.
Excellent. Yes.
Yeah. Well, thank you for coming on, and you kind of saved the show.
Oh, it was my pleasure. I'm sorry if I kind of jumped the gun or something. It felt like
No,
I did.
no. I welcome this. I like, I could go fly solo and figure it out, but I'd rather go back and forth with people. I think it makes a more interesting conversation
Yeah.
that way. And we still got a comic book, so how about that? It all worked out in the end. Phantom comic books for the win.
Yes, but they're awesome.
And My Killer Podcast says Robert Englund is a legend. Yeah. And
Yeah.
didn't you hear? They're trying to bring him back for more Freddy movies.
Are
And
they really?
you know what? Sure, why not? The man is still alive. Make more Freddy movies. Whatever. Let's see it. Dana, Kiki. So is this your friend?
I don't think
You
so.
are friends
But hi,
now.
Kiki. Hi, Kiki.
Well, thank you. I think I'm gonna wind this down.
Okay.
Stay tuned. I don't know who's gonna be on the show next week, but I'm planning on doing a show. I have some few people that I'm scheduling out right now, so stay tuned. Oh, where's my banner? So you can uh-oh, that's not the right thing. There it is. Oh, found a phantom on Instagram. That's where you can find me. That's the best way to find me. Where's the best way to find you?
I'm on. Oh, jeez. I'm on Twitter and Instagram mostly. Hang on, I'll put it in the chat.
Okay,
Give me just a sec.
sure thing. And if anyone else, send in your phantom. If you found a phantom, send it to me. I can't do this alone. I need an army of phantom finders. Because there's just so many out there. It's kind of like Pokemon. You got to catch them all. Even though I don't know anything about Pokemon, so don't ask me about it. But I know you're supposed to catch them all.
Which is impossible.
I've heard there's so many of them. I mean, that's the same with Phantom. Like, I've been collecting this stuff for like 30 years, and I still finding new Phantoms and old Phantoms, new to me, new to the world, and some are new to me.
You know, it's funny. I have one of those figures right behind you.
Which one?
On up there, right behind you, the Lon Chaney one. Oh, the
I
one
got
at the
one.
top.
Yeah,
The
this
one at the
one.
top. No, right above.
This one.
The one in the middle.
This one.
I have that one. Yes.
Uh-oh. The reaction one?
Yes.
Yeah, it's very cool. I also love this one. It's kind of the original from
Oh,
1980.
that's so cool.
Yes.
Oh, it glows in the dark.
Yeah. Which I don't know if it still glows
Which
in the
is-
dark because it doesn't scare me at night. But maybe I need to leave it by a light source and see if it still works.
Maybe. Yeah.
Oh my God! Yeah, if you want to talk about Phantom toys,
That is so awesome.
let's talk about Phantom toys. They're
Yes.
just as weird as the movies and the comic books. It's like, why does this exist?
I don't
I don't
know.
know, but I love that it does. Or like, I mean, why does this exist?
What?
I don't know, but I
What
fucking
is-
love it.
I love it. That's awesome.
Yes. Someone, see, it's not just musical theater, man. Somebody come on and talk to me about Iron Maiden,
Oh, cool.
the Phantom of the Opera, from their first album.
Wow.
In 1980 they recorded it. So way before Andrew Lloyd Webber, Steve Harris was writing about the Phantom of the Opera.
I did not know about that, and I listened to Iron Maiden.
Oh yeah, check it out. It's their original singer, Paul Di'Anno. But Bruce Dickinson, who's their most famous singer, has been quoted saying that that was like the most Iron Maiden song that Iron Maiden has when he joined, and that's why he loves it.
Wow.
Guys, bye. Okay.
Bye.
Yes, I think we're gonna end the show by watching Becky's Kickstarter campaign. Definitely go support it. We'll find out what happened to Becky. I hope she's okay.
I hope so too.
Maybe we'll be back in 2 hours. Stay tuned.
Get yourself some coffee.
Hit that bell notification, because then you'll be alerted. And also subscribe if you liked what you saw. You know, I do another show called the Von Pod. Just Von Pod. It's not about Phantom of the Opera, but I have been talking to some monster musician type people and things like that. Exciting things over there as well. If you just like watching me chat with people, we're gonna have some cool guests like Carrot Top from the Radioactive Chicken Heads. Here, let me get my slides up. I can do some advertising here. Well, actually, I can show you some trailers too. Von Pod. Here we go. It's processing. Live television. Well, while we're waiting for that, here is, I'm going to play a trailer for, let's see, which one do I want to play? Here's a trailer for my album that's coming out sooner than later. It's almost done, I swear.
And now, a word from our sponsors.
Welcome to my pity party. Everyone's invited to celebrate your misery. Apart but united. Hits. I'm writing hits. Recording hits.
Comment below! Comment below! Comment below!
Yeah, that was an advertisement for my company, Vonesper Studios. If you need any video editing or audio recording, or if you need music, if you're starting a project and you need music,
Vonesper Studios is a multimedia production company in the New York City area specializing in capturing your moments in the forms of audio, video, and photography content. Vonesper Studios Music is the audio production and songwriting division that can create the perfect song for your needs. This is an example of just that. Need a jingle to make you tingle? Vonesper Studios Music is ready to write the hits you need for your project. If you are a singer, performer, business owner, or podcast host, you need great tunes to entice your audience. Or maybe you just need a theme song for yourself. Vonesper Studios is ready to create something to suit your needs. Vonesper Studios is ready to score your car commercial.
or your Phantom podcasts. Get at me for some music or video editing. Of course, I gotta pay the bills. If you want to actually sponsor this show, hit me up. If you want to be on the show, hit me up. If you want to talk to my friend Phantom here and ask him some questions, return next week. Thank you, Dana. We are gonna close the show with Becky's Kickstarter. Go and support it. It's gonna be awesome. And with that, thank you for joining me on this Phantom Friday. See you next week.
Paris Opera House, 1881. Christine Daae hides a terrible secret. For months, she has been receiving vocal lessons from a mysterious, disembodied voice. One whose haunting tones can seduce and control anyone who hears it. Christine believes she's being tutored by the angel of music. But when the horrible truth of her situation is revealed, she is in far too deep to free herself. Can her trusted childhood friend and fiancé, Raoul de Chauny, help her escape? Or will she become another victim of the Phantom of the Opera?